Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Loving Kindness class here at the Dharma Bum Temple um, online online mode of giving this class. As you can see, I am not where I'm not where I normally am. I'm actually in Orlando at a conference about mortgage servicing. So I'm having a great time because mortgage servicing is just so interesting. Although I have to admit, I learned a lot of interesting things that I did not know before. So it is kind of interesting to me, but maybe not to you. It is wonderful to be here with you here today. The great thing about doing these classes online is that I can be on a business trip and I can still offer this class to you. I got the special extra hotel Wi-Fi just for this class, and we're just going to do the same thing that we do every class. So I see Jean, Brian, and Linda. Hello, guys. Hope you're doing well. If there's anyone else out there, feel free to say hello. I'd love to hear from you. Oh, that's it. That's okay. I know there's other people out there. So again, we're just going to have this short introduction, because I'm here in Orlando and, I don't know. Hi, Michael. Thank you, Brian. That was lovely for you guys to say. I'm here in Orlando and it is great. Hot. It is hot here and humid. Reminds me of growing up in Louisiana. But it kind of feels good on you. It kind of feels good on your skin, but it does make you really, really sticky. Hi, Sherry. It's good to hear from you. So we're going to have this short introduction. We're going to have a meditation on loving kindness. And then afterwards, questions, comments, whatever else you have to offer. We're just going to do what we always do. And that's going to be good. I'm happy to do it. One of the things that I'm dealing with this week is, how to, effectively communicate online. And I say this because as and I don't want to give too much away here. I am a member of a Facebook group that there are several people who don't see the world as I see it, which is okay. I don't care. It doesn't bother me until they spread misinformation. And sometimes they spread this information, but they don't want to make it seem like it's misinformation. They want it to make it seem spiritual in nature. And, one of the things that I have learned is kind of how to spot this. And then I always ask, well, how do I call this out? Or do I need to call this out? A lot of my kind of growing up and the trauma that I had to deal with is just being stifled and not speaking and just clamming up and being too scared to talk and too scared to say what I feel and say what I think. And into adulthood, that translates into a lot of doing the same thing until it just gets too much. And then you just kind of blurt things out. And so, growing up in my 20s and 30s, even 40s, well, not really 40s, but I did a lot of that. And now I'm just kind of trying to really kind of navigate how to best communicate, because to me, this kind of misinformation needs to be called out. And I did. And, the great thing about, posting on social media is that you don't have to send anything right away. And so I typed something and I just kind of let it sit for a while and said, this isn't the best way to communicate this. And because it's getting personal, I don't want to call out a person. I want to call out the information. So, I was kind of able to do that and posted that, and it wasn't harmful, but it was, to the point, and it kind of called out that misinformation. And when it comes to COVID misinformation, that's a big deal for me that I take very seriously. So anyway, that's kind of what I was kind of dealing with, and I was kind of thinking about how, because that is right speech. not saying anything probably would have been fine, but also working with trauma and having a history of not saying anything but needing to say something, then the question becomes, well, how do I best say this? In a way that's not a trauma response, like blurting something out and just kind of, blah, 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 just the kind of verbal kind of diarrhea that kind of happens sometimes. Hi, Marcel. Wonderful to see you here. So I was kind of thinking about a lot about that and right speech. And again, that's just kind of one of the things that, practicing, that practice does for you. It kind of makes you better. And it's a lot of trial and error and doing things the wrong way, which I certainly have done before. And yeah, anyway, kind of what I've been kind of dealing with recently. But it looks like we have a whole lot of our regulars, and I love to see it. And so because of this, what I'm going to do is we're just going to do our meditation on loving kindness. And I'm going to do this without a ton of direction like I normally do, right? So because you've heard and you kind of know what you're doing and you've heard the instructions many times before, you kind of know what to do. And so I kind of want to allow more time for just actual meditating rather than having to listen to me and follow, specific instructions. You already know these instructions. So let's do it like that. Yeah, it's a good way to kind of shake it up a little bit. Okay, guys, let's go. So just allow your eyes to close, making sure you have that nice seated position that's nice and comfortable for you, nice and sustainable. And so we're just going to spend the first few moments of this meditation just getting in touch with the breath, breathing all the way in, all the way out, focusing on the breath here at the base of the nostrils, feeling the air go in and out as you breathe. And then after a while of just letting the breath be quite easy and natural, then you can kind of experiment with the breath and see what kind of breath will be put you at ease a little bit more, whether it's a deeper breath or a shallower breath, a longer inhale or shorter inhale. And so we're just going to do that for a few minutes. So just for the next few minutes, just rest as gently as you can in the sensations of the breath. So let's begin our meditation on loving kindness by choosing a benefactor and just radiating loving kindness to our benefactor, wishing them happiness, peace, wishing that they do the things that cause happiness, their positive thoughts, words, and actions. You can have as many benefactors as you want, wishing them loving kindness. Wishing them all good things, all the peace and happiness in the world. And we'll do this for the next few moments. Now, shifting our focus a little, now we're going to imagine our benefactor doing this practice for us, picturing them in our mind's eye and imagining them radiating loving kindness to us. And our only job really is just to receive all of their loving kindness. We've received it before because that's why they're a benefactor. So maybe we can carry this memory with us, this experience that we've already have as we do this practice or this part of the practice. Imagining our benefactor or benefactors doing this practice for us. The only thing we have to do is just receive everything. As best as you can, just receive it all. Take it all in. Smile while you do it. And now, shifting our focus again to the most important part of this meditation, and this is loving kindness for ourselves. And you can either kind of radiate loving kindness back onto yourself, or you can just repeat phrases of loving kindness. And just recall to mind your own wish to be happy, your own wish to be free from pain and suffering, to be healthy, to be happy, to do the things that you know cause happiness. And with a smile, maybe your hand over your heart, just gently wishing loving kindness for yourself. And we'll do this for the next few moments. And now, finally, for the final part of this meditation, we can explore the limitless quality of the heart by doing this practice for all beings in all directions, and just radiate out as far as you can. And just imagine you're radiating kindness to the entire world, all living beings in the world, spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded. This is said to be the sublime abiding. So the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. This is what this practice can do. And so we do our best for all beings in all directions. So just allow your eyes to open, just making sure. Let's take the next couple of minutes out in silence as you stretch your arms and you stretch your legs, keeping that mindfulness of loving kindness about you. Hello, Tamara. Good to see you again. So we'll just do this for the next couple of minutes. Then we'll begin. Actually, 1 minute. If you have any questions or comments, anything you'd like to offer about your experience of meditation, it would be wonderful if you could just post it in the chat box. We'll talk about it. Otherwise, we can just talk about mortgage servicing, which is why I'm in Orlando. Yes, I am having coffee. For some reason, I'm getting really tired early evening, and this is now it's 10:37 here in Orlando, so I'm at Eastern time. So um, I was worried that I would fall asleep and miss class, so I went downstairs and got some coffee. So I hope you all are doing well, and that things are progressing nicely, that you're practicing meditation, loving kindness, mindfulness, whatever it is that you practice regularly, because that is key, obviously. And so, I invite you to let me know anything, how you're doing, good or bad, or questions about Orlando. Do you get to do any fun Orlando things like the Wizarding World of Harry Potter? Well, I would love to do the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, but I got in I got in yesterday about maybe 3:30, and I leave tomorrow. My flight's at about 5:36. And so obviously not a lot of time in the daytime. I'm attending sessions and talking to people. Me and the one colleague that I have here with me, we went to dinner. After all the sessions, we just went to dinner, and I got back, and then I was tired, and then I didn't want to fall asleep, so I got some coffee, and next thing, here it is. And so tomorrow I only have time to go to some sessions in the morning, so no fun of that nature. That would be awesome. There's so many fun things in Orlando. We were going to go to it's called the Ice Bar, and so it's a bar that they keep at 2 degrees, and on purpose. And when you walk in, they give you a coat, a jacket, like a thermal kind of thing, so you can have drinks. I mean, I don't drink alcohol, but drinks, or they have like a food menu, and you can go and eat as well. So I mean, that would have been really fun, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be cold. Another time it would have been fun. So we just went somewhere else, and we just worky stuff and personal stuff, and whatever. I work for a small company, so it's really they all kind of blend together, work and kind of personal stuff. So um, I wish I would have gotten some to do some fun things in Orlando. Maybe next time. Although I did get a nonstop flight. That's like the best thing. So what else is going on with you folks? Okay, we'll start with Tamara. Have you ever experienced a meditation rut? And if so, how did you get out of it? So that's a really good question. And that kind of brings me back to uh, the purpose of practice and expectations, uh, and experiences and all of that. Again, I talk about this a lot, but this meditation practice is the long game, right? We're not trying to like just do this for a little while just so I can get some stuff, like manifesting, or to just feel a little bit better than stopping and everything goes to shit again, or anything like that. We're in this for the long haul. So if we're in it for the long haul, a lot of times what happens is we get into these ruts, like you're talking about. We get into these ruts where our meditation's not going well. Um, we're not concentrated. And it's really easy to get discouraged when something like that happens. And a lot of times this comes from expectation, and I don't really know your specific situation, expecting that meditation to go a certain way. And in the long game, we're going to have a whole range of experiences where meditations are going to be great, meditations are going to be disjointed and unconcentrated and painful and all of those different types of things, and times it's going to be super wonderful. But if you're in a rut, as you say, if you're in a rut, you can try to do something different. That might help. Maybe doing meditation a different type of day, a different type of meditation. Maybe you do your two in your heart. Maybe you do like all loving kindness and no mindfulness. Again, this is the heart and brain, the heart and mind. The word for both of those is chitta. So are you more chitta or more chitta? And if you're more here, maybe you need to go here. And if you're more here, maybe you need to go here. Perhaps. It's still chitta, right? It's still the heart and mind that you're working on. Maybe you meditate for longer or shorter. If there's something personal going on, you can examine if there's something going on in your life that's preventing you from being concentrated and working on that. There's a number of different types of things, so I would suggest that you just switch it up. Try switching it up. Try doing something different, especially if this is really kind of getting to you, and all of these meditations are going the same way. Just do something else. another kind of meditation, but still meditate. Yeah, Gene, spooked by Ukraine, sending them loving kindness, and it's always difficult when all these horrible things are going on in the world, and the you're bombarded with news on these things, um, and it can be really really scary, you know because that promotes a lot of fear and uncertainty, and those are things that we just don't really deal well with as a society, whether it's the West or the East or anything like that. It's really different. In Ukraine, I know that I follow someone in Ukraine, and so I get like daily, sometimes twice daily updates. And so she's Ukrainian. She speaks perfect, almost perfect English. Um, and so she's very easy to understand, and so she breaks it down as someone from Ukraine, um, what it's like and what the people of Ukraine think. And so she's not listening. So when I watch her, I'm not listening to the news, and she presents this information in a relatively kind of dispassionate way. So there's not a lot of hyperbole and a lot of fear mongering, and which the news loves to do, right? The news just wants ratings. The news is no longer the news. The news is now entertainment, and that's a thing in the news that's happened in the last several years, where the news stopped being news and relatively objective, and now it's all about how scared can we make people so they continue to watch. Like, how much can we make them suffer and come back for more suffering? So, with that, you know, it's okay to know what's going on in the world, and it's, certainly important. But do you feel that you're getting kind of sucked into all of this kind of, fear mongering that the news often deals with? And can you kind of somehow break away from that and not watch it as much while still understanding what's going on? Um, I remember, in a lot of these crises, the news will be bombarded with that particular story, and they'll cover it from every single angle, and they'll have pictures and interviews with people who had know nothing about the situation but claim that they're terrorism experts or international experts, which is hilarious. And that's why I'm glad, when I moved into the temple in 2018, I put everything I had, either I gave it away or I put it in storage. And my TV, I put in storage. And I don't have, obviously I didn't have cable at the temple, right? So I didn't have a TV, and I watched the news. I had my laptop, and I can get the news from my laptop, which I did occasionally, or my phone. But in that 2 years I was at the temple, I relatively just kind of checked out of all of that, and boy, was I happier. I still understood what was going on in the world, but it certainly didn't consume me as it could have, before. So watch your diet of news and be mindful of that. Ryan and Linda, for me, it's hard to balance keeping in touch with what's going on in the world and not watching the news excessively. Right, because it sucks you in. They're expert at sucking you in. They're expert on knowing what to say, how to say it, and how to scare the hell out of you, frankly. And that's it. We have 24-hour news channels, and these 24-hour news channels need content for 24 hours. Sometimes they replay certain programs, and that's fine. But a lot of times, especially when there's something pressing going on in the world with what's going on in Ukraine, they're going to keep on feeding you because you're consuming it. They want you to consume more, so they're going to do what they can to make you consume more. And the more you get scared, the more uncertainty there is, the more you're going to consume that, thinking that that's providing satisfaction when it's really just providing you more suffering. And I think, who said that? Gene. Gene was saying that, sending them loving kindness. This is a wonderful part of your practice that you could employ. When you're doing this practice, maybe you do a whole loving kindness practice for the people of Ukraine. That would be wonderful. That would be a wonderful use of your meditation time. So, this is actually for Tamara too, especially since you want to do something different. Get out of your head. Just do loving kindness for the people of Ukraine, because they could certainly benefit from it. It's hard sometimes, and that's why we practice. Like I said, the newsmen, or the people who run the news these days, they're no longer in the news business, they're in the entertainment business. And so they need you to keep watching. And so how can you employ, mindfulness practice to realize what you're doing, what's going on internally inside you that says, I need to keep consuming this news. Why do you need to keep consuming this news? Well, because I'm scared. That's okay. It's okay to admit that you're scared. And you're scared for yourself. You're scared for, the people of Ukraine, and you're scared of Russia, and you're scared of this, and you're scared of that. And so, with that information, then the question becomes, well, what do you do with it? How am I going to relate to this situation as it relates to kind of how I, kind of run my daily life? And the thing about, like I said, living at the temple and not really watching TV for 2 years, when I moved into my new place, I didn't have a TV. I was so used to not having a TV, just watching stuff on my laptop. That was just good enough for me. And I actually got a TV recently, had it installed and hung up on the wall and put on the little bracket thingy. I didn't do that. I hired somebody to do that. Do I watch that TV? No, I do not. Do I have cable? No, I do not. Why do I have a TV? I don't know. It's like, I guess you're supposed to have a TV. And so I go about my day understanding what's going on with Ukraine, because I follow this woman on TikTok, and she's very, very good. She lives in Ukraine. She's Ukrainian. She speaks excellent English, and she's able to communicate what's going on and what the Ukrainian people think about this, and the history of the interaction of the relationship between Ukraine and Russia. And the more information like that I get, the better it makes me feel about understanding what's going on. So, yeah. But those are, really valid things to be worried about, most definitely. Yep. Michael, may pray for wisdom to help leaders make the right choices. Always, that's part of it. It's your practice. You can do whatever you want with it. And, thinking about it just a little bit more, this is another wonderful opportunity to do loving kindness for yourself, Because when you get caught up in watching the news and you kind of unknowingly or unconsciously are suffering because you keep on returning to the same source of suffering and consuming it, can you then just do nothing but loving kindness for yourself if you're going to do a loving kindness meditation? Because in this way, you're harming yourself. You're doing nothing but harming yourself. And the antidote for that suffering is loving kindness for yourself specifically. Maybe you do half loving kindness for you, half loving kindness for the people of Ukraine, or something like that. That's the great thing about this practice. You can always experiment, and you can always figure out what works for you best, and just kind of do that. Do we have anything else before we end for this evening? Just to let you know, I will be back in the San Diego area next week. But it was pretty cool, to be perfectly honest, to be able to do this class, really remotely from the other side of the country, and just have it be like a normal class, because it is a normal class. It doesn't matter where you do it. I actually forgot until I think yesterday. Oh no, I have a Wednesday class. What am I going to do? Thank you, Gene. All right. Yes, thank you all for being here. Wonderful to be here with you at this, doing this practice. It's always so beneficial for me, and I hope it's beneficial for you as well. Thank you for the wonderful wishes. And let's join our palms together at our hearts, please. And may the benefit of this meditation, this discussion, be received by all beings in all directions. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be joyful and at ease. May all beings be happy. May all beings be loved and seen for the beautiful, radiant beings that they are, that you are. Thank you for coming. Okay, you guys, I don't have a bell. The bell that you heard was from my phone. But I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye now. Take care. You're welcome. Bye.